Since Trump lost the election to Biden in the January 26th insurrection, he's claimed our elections are faulty and rigged, particularly against him. He's used that claim to seek support for supposedly necessary election reform, laying the groundwork in an executive order that says the elections are diluted and overrun by fraud, explaining its belief rather than its evidence that non-citizen voting and foreign financial contributions have overpowered our elections. There was no mention of the approximate $200+ million that the South African-born U.S. naturalized Elon Musk is estimated to have spent on the 2024 election cycle, or the election fraud map created by the Heritage Foundation that has tracked 1,620 cases of voter fraud between 1982 and 2025. That's 36.8 instances of fraud per year, and they included local elections. The fraud map charges ranged from mailing an absentee ballot for a deceased parent or landlord, registering to vote as a felon, forging signatures to get a primary nomination, or lying about a home address to vote or run for office in the wrong county. They didn't include a theft by Joe Biden of the 46th presidency. Trump's election attacks have also included encouraging a gerrymandering battle between the states and a demand from Pam Bondi that Minnesota provide their voter rolls if they want ICE to be removed from the state. They sued several other states to access their voter rolls and use the FBI to seize Georgia ballots from the 2020 presidential election. Most recently, Steve Bannon suggested ICE could surround the polls, and Trump called for nationalized elections. They've made themselves clear. Under the guise of preserving election integrity, they're looking for strategies to help them impact the outcomes of future elections. Our pesky little Constitution deems elections a duty of the state, and that decentralization works in our favor. They cannot overrun them without serious maneuvering, which is harder when we're all watching. Dictatorships have held sham elections to appease its citizens, putting on a show of democracy while fabricating or not honoring the results. And let's be real, US history is no stranger to voter suppression, but we are far from powerless. We need to keep our eye on our voter registration in case we're removed from the voter rolls. Everyone's state has websites to check your registration status. You can volunteer at the polls, and we need to watch state and federal voting legislation. You can call your congresspeople or organize a protest to encourage opposition to, for example, the SAVE Act, which some call an anti-voter bill because it makes it harder for US citizens to prove themselves eligible to vote. You and a collection of your friends need to demand every day from the steps of your state capitol, if you have to, an election protection plan from your state government. They are responsible for providing you with a fair election and voter safety. This is why we have politicians, so that in the worst circumstances, they can protect us and make sure we live in a democracy. And finally, we can take a page out of Bob Moses's book and hold our own elections if we have to, so that we have the evidence for ourselves and the world where the American people stand if we really need it.